Democrats G60 in the House of Representatives have called for the immediate prosecution of the council chairman who attempted to elongate their tenure after 3 years in office. They say this is at the end of an emergency. They said this rather at the end of an emergency meeting in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Joke Adisa has details.
In the past few months, Rivers State has been in the news because of the protracted political crisis in the oil-rich state. The friction between the governor and his predecessor has grown worse and threatens the peace and stability of the state. Tuesday, June 18, the crisis assumed another dimension as youths loyal to Governor Siminalayi Fubara took over the premises of the local government offices. Their action was to prevent council chairmen whose tenure expired the previous day from continuing in office. Members of the State House of Assembly, loyal to former Governor Nyesom Wike, had passed a law extending the tenure of the council chairmen. The Tuesday morning takeover of the council secretariats across the state was the peak of the political crisis. The political development in the state is the reason for this emergency meeting of a group of opposition legislators in the House of Representatives. The group accused the council chairman of breaching provisions of Section 37, subsection 1 of the Criminal Code Act, Section 39 of the Nigeria Police Act, and Section 12 of the Criminal Procedure Code, among other laws. It wants the council chairman prosecuted for treason.
This act of failed treason was organized by the former 23 LUGA chairmen whose tenure has long expired, but they wanted to use magistrates from neighboring states to conduct a kangaroo swearing-in despite knowing that their tenure has since expired.
The lawmakers thanked the people of the state for turning out in their numbers to stop the council chairman from unconstitutionally remaining in office.
This heroic action of the people of Rivers State is in line with Section 20 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act that empowers citizens to arrest and foil any criminal act being committed in their presence.
The lawmakers called on the judiciary to remain vigilant in curbing the activities of persons they say are desperate to take over institutions of governance in Rivers State or in any other part of the country. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
Now, protesters on Tuesday laid siege to several local government area secretariats in the state following the expiration of the 3-year tenure of the council chairman. The state government is resisting attempts by the chairman to remain in office in what is the latest twist to the dispute between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike. Senior reporter Uche Okoro reports.
Sporadic gunfire as supporters of Governor Siminalayi Fubara and those of the council leadership clashed at the Port Harcourt City Local Government Secretariat. Hours after the tenure of the council chairman elapsed, protesters barricaded the office on suspicion that there are plans to loot the facility by persons who are opposed to the anticipated change in leadership.
We decided to gather ourselves as law-abiding citizens of the local government to have a personal security around the council premises to protect our properties from being looted, because these properties were built and bought by the council funds, which we are owners of.
According to them, any attempt by the chairman to remain in office would be resisted.
It would be unwise for anybody elected for 3 years, which has elapsed last midnight, to say that he will not leave power. Power has left you. You have no choice than to obey the law, because it is a treasonable offense to challenge the state.
If you look at the ground, you see bullet shell casing. You have one. You see bullet shell cases. They came here with SP Masalachi. They shot at us, live ammunition. 2 persons were injured. They shot over 30 tear gas canisters. So for what reason? What is this still doing here?
The atmosphere in Obiakpon local government secretariat was also tense. Protesters forced their way into the complex to vent their anger at officials who insist on continuing in office.
We are not the people that will say a thing and will go behind to do a different thing. No. We will match our word with action. If anybody thinks he owns Obiakpon more than, or let him come out.
The protest quickly spread to other parts of the state and has worsened fears that the situation may escalate further when work resumes after the public holidays. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria police have taken over security at all the 23 local governments in the state following the violence that broke out on Tuesday that claimed the lives of a police officer and a vigilante member. Well, joining us in the studio is a public affairs analyst, Biodun Shomi. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Right. While via Zoom is a public affairs analyst, former chairman, ICANN Lagos and District Society, Lester Wilcox. Lester, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, my dear sister, and thanks for having me. Let me say good morning to Biodun Shomi. It's been a while.
Good morning, Alistair. It's quite a while.
All right, let me begin with you, Alistair. If you look at the papers this morning, it's awash with developments coming out of Rivers State, how the whole matter has taken a different dimension, as we saw yesterday. Unfortunately, 2 persons lost their lives in the process. But talk to us what your perception of how the governor is handling this matter is.
As a proud son of Rivers State, although has been loaned to Lagos for a while now, I'm most concerned as to how my state has become a theater of war by gladiators who were once eating and dining from the same pot and from the same table. And it's become so worrisome that at any point, any side of the bend, when you think you have seen the light at the end of the tunnel, the worst is yet to come, and so nobody understands what is happening. The major thing here is legality over rascality. I think that's just the major issue here. Legality over rascality.
Could you expatiate on that?
Yes, and because they say the law is an ass, everybody needs to want to turn the law the way it suits him. When I say legality over rascality, I'm not laying it at the doorstep of any particular candidate, except maybe we'll try to dissect the issues and know where legality comes and where rascality comes.
Absolutely, that's why we are here.
Yes, I think for me, the fact remains that the local government administration, nationwide, has been a turning issue in the flesh of our constitution, our constitutionality, to the extent that before now, everywhere, apart from maybe Lagos, everywhere, governance seems to have their foothold on the local government administration because of some of the issues that we are trying to correct at the Supreme Court with this presentation. But the fact in Rivers State is very clear. The local government was elected on a 3-year mandate. And let me just make the correction. I think it's 21 local government that these issues are coming up. 2 local governments are not having this challenge. Pony, which is my own local government, and Opobo, which is the local government of the governor. I think the 2 local governments are scam, and they have all left offices at the expression of their tenure. And as a matter of fact, these 2 local governments, led by their chairman and their councillors, are the ones that went to court to seek an order to nullify well, let me call it judicial rascality, legislative rascality of the Martins Amewule-led House of Assembly to enact a law of elongation, of tenure elongation, and these 2 local governments went to court to say no, and the court upheld their prayers and nullified that law. So you are elected on a term of 3 years, and the whatever instrument that is you are holding on to the effect that your tenure has been elongated has again been nullified by a competent court. So where does the value? Where does the back and forth? Where does the interpretations or the omnibus interpretations that people are giving, that everyone are giving into a simple court judgment? Let me consider to show me. Maybe it might help me.
Okay, but you posed a question or an issue, Alesta, that we need to bring to the studio to Biodun to perhaps react to, talking about the law that is at the heart of this whole matter, the one for and the one against. There's the matter of the law that was put in place by the Martin Ameule-led State House of Assembly at some point that extended the tenure of this local government chairman, which they are holding on to as it is. But another court now came out to say, you know what, that law is akin to our constitution and so cannot stand as it is. So that is where he is standing, talking about Alesta now. Let's get your perception of what's going on.
Well, I may not necessarily share Alesta's perspective, because you need, to look at the history of this problem. How did we get here on this very particular issue of local government, tenure, elongation, or expiration? The governor of Rivers State presented a budget without making provision for elections.
That's similar like...
In Rivers State, yeah, Fubara. Yeah. So, consequently, he had the intention of not conducting local government elections because there is no provision, budgetary provision for the Electoral Commission. So consequently, the House of Assembly saw through it and decided to pass a bill that rather than the 14 caretaker committees, which are simply handpicked people by the governor on the 23 local government areas in Rivers State, they would rather have those already elected to have their tenure extended. Government should present a supplementary budget, get it approved, and then they can have a proper elections. And that's the position. And they did pass the bill. They sent it to Fubara, the governor of Rivers State. He decided not to assent to it. So when he declined, he vetoed it. The House of Assembly, in line with the law, decided, to ratify that bill and repass it again, and then legally, it is a law. But we now have a situation where some pro-Fubara people went to court and challenged the law on the grounds that members of the House of Assembly, the 25 members that made the law, were no longer valid members of House of Assembly, and therefore they could not have made a valid law. And the court, the Rivers State High Court, upheld their submission and said, since they are no longer members of the House of Assembly, so they could not do that. But again, the other party approached the court. Again, another Rivers State High Court, presented, looked at the issues, and said, look, there's no evidence that these 25 people resigned beyond mere proclamation, that there are stipulated processes, and procedures for resigning from a political party. No evidence has been presented before the judge. And a judge is not a Father Christmas. If you say they have resigned, where is the letter of resignation? If you say they have done this, where is the evidence? The judge needs the evidence. The evidence was not produced. And therefore, the judge directed or ruled that they are still valid members of the PDP. Consequently, means they are valid members of the Rivers State.
And the law stands.
And consequently, by extension, the law made by them to extend the tenure of the existing local government executives, stand in law. But now, there is a problem. The government failed to recognize in law. It's quite clear that the last judgment should be what people should comply with.
Right.
But because they are courts of coordinate jurisdiction, there's little or nothing you can do. The government chose to pick the one that favors them. And now the case is in Court of Appeal. Judgment will be given tomorrow. In my view, how long will it take? To wait 3 days? The tenure expires on the 17th. The Court of Appeal will rule and clarify the issue on the 20th. What is the need? Particularly, because you will now understand who is the one engaging in rascality. Particularly when the Court of Appeal ordered all parties to maintain status quo.
Absolutely.
To maintain status quo means when the ruling was given, they were still local government chairmen. Maintain status quo means don't kick them out. Until the courts judge on 3 days after. So for Fubara to have gone ahead to announce that all local government heads should take over, and again now, he has now appointed caretaker committee to achieve.
He nominated.
Yes, to achieve what originally was proposed, simply because he did not make budgetary provision for conducting elections. So what would have been his intention?
So for me, invariably, you're saying he is perhaps interpreting a script he already wrote down.
Absolutely. The script started from when no provision was made to conduct elections. If you have not made provisions for the state electoral committee to conduct elections, what are you trying to do? You are going to end up defaulting caretaker committee on the state. And that is exactly, if the governor did not present a budget, is a different thing. So what you have seen is a simulated act, orchestrated act, which is going on. And the police have done the right thing. They have really been impartial. It's unfortunate we have lost 2 people, including a gallant police officer. They have done the right thing by taking over the secretariat and trying to maintain peace. Don't forget, this is a state where, under Fubara, they have bombed the House of Assembly. Is that the police? Who supported those who bombed the House of Assembly? Who went in to bulldoze the House of Assembly? Who is protecting one of the people that the police fingered and are saying that he needs to explain the bombing?
Well, the governor has come out to say that his supporters should not be arrested. But Alesta, you want to come in, so go ahead.
Yes, I think we should share the time very much, because I mean, I spoke for like 1.5 minutes and I yielded.
No, you spoke more than 1.5 minutes.
You opted to pass the baton.
Okay. I pass the baton to my friend and my brother. Let me even say that I'm surprised that my brother is making case for the House of Assembly that didn't make a case for themselves. The issue of where the budget provision is coming from, I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing it. It's like, I'm a Rivers man. Well, let me concede to him that maybe because I didn't take time to look through the pages of the 800 billion budget of the Rivers State government that was passed by the factional House of Assembly when the other House of Assembly was not recognized. And let me also say that I don't know where that is coming from, and I must be very honest with my brother. The issue of legality, you see that when I say the law is an art, and everybody want to interpret it the way they want to interpret it. There are plethora of cases which my brother has failed to mention. And blaming Governor Fubara, a fully elected governor of Rivers State, as an aggressor, for me, it's rather very uncharitable, and I don't think we're here for that, or to take side with whoever. We're looking at the facts as they are presented to us on the table. Now, there are plethora of cases. Let me refresh my brother's mind. There are like 4 cases that existed in Rivers State. The one I can remember. When Edison here took over at the House of Assembly at the time of the defection, and let's also talk about defection. My brother, there is an affidavit sworn to by Martins and Mehule and his 25 co-travelers at the Federal High Court, Abuja, stating the fact that they have decamped from APC to PDP to APC. That affidavit is still valid, and for which they got a court injunction. I won't say kangaroo, a court injunction. Now, when Edison here took over as the Speaker of the House of Assembly, they went to court in Rivers State to stop Martins and Mehule and co from parading themselves as members because their seat has been declared vacant. And they got a court injunction, which the Martins and Mehule, I don't know if they've appealed that issue until the political solution came into being and the governor allowed them back to start making laws. That's one set of cases. Now, this issue of saying budgetary provision, government history, I'm not aware, and I don't think any Riversman is aware, any Riversman or Riverswoman is aware of that fact you are bringing up. It might be a correct fact, but I don't think that fact is clear, or even the Martins and Mehule has ever mentioned such facts as part of their reasons. Now, you know that the local government is very juicy and to anybody, to any political structure. Of course, we can talk about structure all the time. So local government is very key to such structure. Now, when they made that law, the governor didn't assent, and then they passed the law. Remember, as at then, their position was still shaky because there was a court that says they are no longer member. The political solution brought them in, as members. We're all Rivers people. And we need to find a way to solve our problem. And like I said, a proud Rivers son, although loaned to Lagos, let me just put it that way. I've been in Lagosians for God knows how long, but I've been fully in touch with Rivers State. Well, I mean, my proud state. Now, the courts, again, two local government chairmen and their councillors took that law to court. And that law was declared null and void. No appeal on that issue. The appeal at the appeal court is the interlocutory injunction obtained by Okojumbo-led Speaker House of Assembly to the effect that Martin Samehule and his brothers and his co-travelers have left the PDP and they have said and they should be stopped from pardoning themselves as not that law. That law has nothing to do with this current matter that was adjourned. It's not judgment. It was adjourned to 20th. And the court asked the parties to file in their briefs, not judgment. It is maybe for hearing, for mention, for whatever. So it is out of place that a judgment has not been nullified, that has been nullified by a Port Harcourt High Court, University High Court, is now the base upon what we are discussing. If we're talking about legality, that law has been nullified. And so your tenure expired. Who should wait for the 3 days? It's not the man whose tenure has expired. Let's come to rationality. The local government cannot be left leaderless. That is why the governor asked the heads, who are the civil servants, the heads of administration, not caretaker committee, the heads of administration to take charge pending further development. So who should wait? Is it the chairman whose tenure expired and upon which law they are asking for extension? So where is the legality? Where is the nationality now? So if your tenure has expired, the law upon which you want to use through the back door to elongate your tenure has been declared null and void. You have not appealed that law. You have only appealed the interlocutory injunction stopping Martin Amehule to acting as speaker and members of House of Assembly. That's the law. That's what is an appeal. So we must balance the act and not thinking I'm trying as much as possible not to, because we're all Rivers men and women. At the end of the day, we all find ourselves in either Dube or Aba Road or somewhere and shake hands. These are people that we are eating and dining together. So we must be able to situate the facts clearly so that we avoid the unfortunate situation. Now, who should wait? Often on that day, yesterday was a public holiday. What's the local government chairman doing in the office on that day? His tenure expired the previous day. And the law upon which you want to hinge on has been nullified. And you've not appealed it. And there's no appeal that has nullified that nullification. So who should have the governor is the chief officer of the state, and he must act in that capacity. I am not here to hold brief for the governor. I mean, he doesn't know me as a person. He's my governor, just as Sanwo-Olu is my governor in Lagos. And I must see what is right, not to conjure issues that may be alien to whatever crisis that is going on. The bottom of the crisis is everybody is aware. It is between a godfather and a godson, and people are taking sides. Unfortunately, who is suffering? The Rivers people. And let me also make it clear, my brother Showumi, there is nowhere that it was stated that Edison here bond House of Assembly or is being protected by the governor. Please, let us not conjure things. Edison here is a responsible citizen of Rivers State, and he was never, well, it was an allegation which the court has nullified, and the governor is not protecting Edison here. Edison here is on the streets every day. So the governor is not protecting Edison. It is his chief of staff. In line with the political solution, he resigned as the speaker, and then the governor appointed the chief of staff as a compensation for that sacrifice. So Edison here is a responsible citizen of Rivers State, and he's so held in high esteem.
All right.
Yes, it's quite unfortunate that we are still not addressing the issue. Alistair is my very good friend and brother. We're very close. So, but the truth must be told. What you have failed to address is that if the governor does not want any local government extension, if he's not interested in caretaker committee, if he wants to follow the rule of law, what stops elections from being conducted before the expiration of the tenure of office?
Because he has 90 days.
Yes. What stops the election?
So he can do that before or after.
Absolutely.
Right.
That did not happen. So, look, it's quite clear that this is a script, put together by the governor. And I can easily say that simply because he is the chief executive. There should have been an election. There's no election. Then what are you expecting? That is, the governor will now nominate, which he has done, people who are unelected, who have not been voted for, to run local government administration in a democracy. You know, so this issue is very clear. On the issue of the repeal of the law, again, I think you did not highlight the fact that the basis of the repeal was the claim that they have the count. Yes, I've heard about the affidavit you refer to, but another court, a River State High Court, not Federal High Court, a River State High Court, you know, in a recent judgment, you know, found that there was no sufficient evidence to prove that they have resigned from the PDP, and therefore they are still valid members of the PDP. So you have two conflicting, you know, rulings here. And therefore, the governor chose to obey one, the chairman or the removed chairman of local government chose to obey the other. So where is the error in this? So at the end of the day, the case in the Court of Appeal will resolve a lot of issues. And both parties, whoever is not pleased with any River State High Court decision, should go to Court of Appeal.
But the governor, in his defense, said he just got full control of the state just 4 months ago. We know he's been in office for almost over a year. If elections had been conducted at that time, what would have been the outcome, looking at what you're saying now?
Is it possible for him to conduct the election before the tenure elapsed?
Look, it was possible. He could have done that, one. Number two, don't forget one thing. We have two states here in Nigeria currently in crisis. One is River State, and we've seen the response, resort of violence, militarization by non-state actors, trying to resolve issues bordering on the law, you know, by people openly destroying government property, whether it's local government, state or federal, does not matter. Government is government. Destroying government property, openly brandishing gun. It has cost the lives of two people. We had a similar, if you compare that to how the Kano crisis is being handled, the emirship, which is also a very potent one that could have led to breakdown of law and order. We have seen that the approaches are different. They are allowing the rule of law to prevail. The governors are not resorting to self-help. The governor in Kano State, they are not resorting to self-help, even though there were allegations of a federal or one or two federal institutions involved against the
statements been...
Yeah, but then we've seen how they are resolving the issues in a more civil way. What is going on in Rivers is that non-state actors have taken over the streets before the police now had to come in with the governor.
State actors or people who are citizens of the state?
Well, citizens of the state, non-state actors. Don't forget, this is the state where they bomb the House of Assembly with impunity. Well, we should not forget that.
We have to be careful with the choice of words we're using, because at the time they said it was not bombed. At the time, that was what we were told, that it wasn't bombed, if I recall what happened at the time, but that, yes, it was attacked as it is. But we'll need to quickly go on a break. When we return, we'll continue this conversation. Gentlemen, stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. We're still speaking about developments out of Rivers State. The recent twists that eventually led to the unfortunate lives of a policeman and a vigilante member being lost in the process. We saw youths troop out yesterday where some have said that they were showing support for the governor as much as they were also trying to enforce the statement made by the governor saying that the local government chairman tenure has ended and should not step into office as it is. And we still have our guests, Biodun Shomi, public affairs analyst, speaking with us in the studio, and Lester Wilcox, public affairs analyst, past chairman, ICANN Lagos and District Society, speaking with us via Zoom. And Lester, let me come to you now. The matter of yesterday, how we saw a number of youth come out to, enforce what we saw as the statement the governor made with regards to the local government chairman not going to their offices, and we saw them going around all of the secretariats of the local councils trying to enforce that statement, and we saw some level of destruction happened, and then the eventual shootout that we saw where the policeman lost his life as well as a vigilante member. Could that have been properly handled?
My dear, let me say this without fear of perilous critics. I've never seen a governor in Rivers State all the time, in fact, in this dispatch, that is as peaceful, as calm as Governor Simlaye Fubara. I'm not saying this because I know him or he knows me. Because the events in Rivers State, if it is any other governor, any other person, you know, Simlaye was not a politician, he was a civil servant, called civil servant. Well, let me call him Mr. Wike's, former Governor Wike's henchman in terms of the control of the finance of the state. So he was not so when this issue started, I'm sure it was so strange to him. But he told the path of peace and even advised when people were protesting, coming to him, say, go and be peaceful. He has always expressed that peaceful disposition everywhere. Not many people would take what Fubara has taken. Governor Wike will not take what ex-Governor Wike, because when Governor Wike came in, when ex-Governor in 2015, what did he do first? Dissolve local government, appoint Kesga committees. As a matter of fact, he ran Amechi out of town, even with the federal might of Amechi as a federal minister, not like he is now. But you see, sometimes I don't want to go that too, because like I said, I keep saying we are all Rivers people. We are all Rivers men and women. And these politicians, they do not use it to settle accounts. They can always settle the account when you are not there. And so when we, even the river citizens and outsiders, begin to take sides and begin to make utterances.
So you think that the governor is not settling accounts with some of the things that he's doing now, because that's what some persons believe, that he's trying to perhaps reward his loyalists. Recall that there were statements that he has been said to have said that the previous local government chairmen were not loyal to him, and so that is why perhaps he's going ahead dissolving they're pushing ahead with this matter of their tenure, and also nominating persons, which some persons are saying perhaps he's trying to put his persons there, perhaps those who worked and fought for him.
My sister, let me tell you this. Can we calm down? Let me.
No, I'm calm. I'm just trying to make my statement.
Yeah, let me make it fast.
Yeah.
Look, the governor, when this crisis started, any other governor will have dissolved local government, as they always do. But part of the agreement was don't dissolve local government. So their tenure was allowed to.
Which agreement are you speaking about?
The political agreement they had with the president in December.
Okay.
Part of it was not to dissolve local government, because they know today Abia is not under democratic elected local government structure. We're not going to copy the bad examples. Obi of Anambra didn't conduct local government election till the twilight of his when he was leaving. So that has been governors over the time. Wike himself, former Governor Wike himself, did not have local government until after about 6 or 7, about almost a year in power. I don't know the exact number. So they all appoint caretaker committee. But let me say for Sim, he allowed the process to run through. Their tenure expired on the 17th. Now, what is in contention now between the Rivers people, not even the governor now? Listen, before then, the Rivers people are saying there is no tenure elongation. And so a lot of people went to court on that tenure elongation, not even the authenticity of the people that made the law. The job was clear in the ruling. Tenure elongation is alien to the Constitution. As a matter of fact, even the federal government, even the Supreme Court has talked about tenure elongation of local government as a nullity. So that's what the Rivers people are standing by. And so if the Governor Sim has displayed, in my mind, has displayed the highest level of civility, because if you say they are not loyal to him, they've been abusing him. Have you seen Dr. Chidi Lloyd and Eze Nosike of Ikwe local government and Emoha? Have you seen those two men talk about the governor? They call him all kinds of names: stupid governor, useless governor. They've called him all kinds of names. So if they are not loyal to him, he's not loyal to them. So they have displayed it. In fact, those two local governments, the others are even quiet. But those two local governments, they seem to have been the one that is pushing against the governor. So, and no governor will take such thing lying low. And the government did not send anybody to go and occupy local government. The people rose up by themselves. Don't forget, it's not the two sides. The other side is also fighting because when you see what happened in Obiakpo, the other side, that is the chairman side, is also fighting. When what happened in Port Harcourt, the chairman side, okay, why is it only in the Ikure local government that this is happening? Did you hear that anything happened in Africa local government or Gbogbo local government or Ando local government? Nothing happened there. The people, maybe they've accepted their fate, but it is those Ikure local governments that are called loyalists to ex-Governor Wike that do not want to give out or see themselves as the most antagonist to the government. We are all Rivers people. There can only be one governor at a point in time. 2027 is around the corner. And that is my position. We must understand the fact that Rivers State, look, people cannot destroy the Rivers State. We've had it too rough before now. And let me recall to every Rivers man and woman. In the 80s, there's a jingle that goes on FM radio.
Okay, so that we can make judicious use of our time. Lester, we have a second guest here.
Let me just
needs to respond to some of the things you have said. We cannot.
Don't pull her
you
down.
need to hold your thoughts, Lester, because we have another guest here to also share his position with us on this matter. Thank you very much. I'm certain you want to react to something.
Yeah. I'm very glad that you are making allusion to the issue of Ikwere. You have not clearly said it. So it's clear that this is an issue between the Ijaw and Ikweres largely. That is the riverine and uplanders. Uplanders are 60% of the population. The riverines, the Ijaws are 40% of the population. One way or the other, with Wike's involvement, they've been able to produce Fubara. For the past 25 years, they have never been able, to produce a governor simply because it's a function of numbers when it comes to voting. And whether you take it from Odili to Celestino Meyer to Amechi to Wike, they are uplanders because election is a function of numbers. Now that we have found ourselves with Fubara, I think Fubara could have better handled the situation, with a view to find accommodation and resolve issues using the rule of law. The courts are very, very important in resolving matters. We can see what they're doing in Kano State. Issues are being resolved in a more civil manner than what is happening in Rivers. We've seen the House of Assembly burned down, or whether bombed or burned down, whichever, and we have seen violence being unleashed on the street. We've seen government property, being destroyed, and there is a perception of a sitting governor who is supposed to be a father for all, irrespective of whether you are Ikwere, you are Ogoni, you are Andoni, or you are Ijaw. He's supposed to be a father for all. We have seen the governor almost to the point of even, I want to avoid saying the word inside, saying things that could inflame the situation. I don't think that is right. I don't think that is the best way to govern, irrespective of whether he's right or wrong or the justness of or injustice of his case. That's not the issue. The issue is, how do you govern the state?
Absolutely.
How do you ensure that you have an inclusive governance in a way that your people are united in diversity? Not what we have currently. We have youths roaming the street. We have police force. The Nigerian police force was forced to take over all local government sectors.
And many persons seem to be forgetting the fact that caretaker committees are illegal. There's no provision for that.
I'm coming there. The caretaker committee is totally alien to the Constitution. Fubara himself admitted that he felt he had taken over power 4 months ago. He had only 90 days. The Constitution stipulated 90 days to conduct elections. So he had time to conduct. The fact is there was no provision for any election. What you are seeing is orchestrated. What you are seeing is a simulated act to get to this destination so that caretaker committee can be defaulted on the people of Rivers State. And it's quite unfortunate. It's not the only one. I know there are some governors also interested, they would rather rule through the caretaker committee. The matter is already with the Supreme Court. Yes. Currently with the Supreme Court, to resolve between the states and the federal government. But the truth of the matter is that the governor should have prepared for election. He did not. So he contributed to this situation, which we found ourselves in. It's not just the Martin Amewule law that they made.
But fingers are pointing towards Nyesom Wike, who is in Abuja. That's the thing on the lips, the name on the lips of a majority of persons. If you looked at videos coming out of the state yesterday saying that he should leave the state alone and allow the governor.
On a serious note, on this issue of local government, I cannot see Wike's hand in it. Because the Martin Amewule House of Assembly passed the law, forwarded it to the governor for assent, he vetoed it, and then they finally passed it back into law. And eventually, it became the law until a Rivers State High Court gave a judgment, nullifying it, that they were not bona fide members of the PDP when they made the law. And another Rivers State High Court again has given another ruling to say that, look, there was no evidence that they resigned from PDP, and therefore acceptable to the court and acceptable to law, and therefore they are valid. So the law, by extension, the law they made seems to be valid. So the governor is holding on to one court ruling. The caretaker committee people are holding on to another. So I think this is about conflicting judgments, and implications from the courts. I don't think this is about Wike. Yes, some of them, or many of them, could be Wike's loyalists, and some could be Fubara's loyalists, right? But the fact of the matter is, in this case, Fubara is the governor. He needs to manage everybody. He is the father for all. He cannot be playing the kind of role he's playing currently. I have not seen Fubara, as the chief security officer of Rivers State, condemning the involvement of non-state actors, in this matter. We have heard of gunshots. We have heard of policemen being shot dead. We have heard of a vigilante person being shot dead. We have had, of situations where...
Perhaps he might still speak to the issues later in the day.
Maybe, but again, that would be belated. Because the governor has to lead from the front. And I'm surprised the elders that we expect to play a more constructive role, they are nationalists. They are taking sides, hiding under ethnic, cover. That should never be acceptable to anybody. The governor needs to be the governor. He's father for all. Whether it's Ikwere, it's Ogoni, it's Andoni, it's Boni, it does not matter. Or Ijo. He needs to be. Absolutely. I agree, the governor has to govern. And he needs to have the conducive environment. But there are better ways to do this.
Because the concern now is the implication of all of this that is happening on the people themselves, on the state, dividends of democracy. We just celebrated 25 years, and we are still seeing all of these teething problems, as some will call it, happening in some of the states, especially Rivers State. Lester, how do you respond to this?
Let me correct my brother and my friend about the voting strength of Rivers State. Please, Calabari and Africa alone can dwarf all the Ikwere local governments, just to communities. So it's not about Ijo. Please, my brother showed me. It's not about Ijo and Ikwere. This issue.
All right, we have very limited time to wrap up, so I'd like for you to quickly address.
I'm just trying to correct my brother. So if you look at the population, the voting population, I think it should be like 65 to 35 between upland and riverine. Apart from the Ogonis, I don't think any other people has strength in the upland. But that is a matter of another day. So that's not true as to why Fubara became governor. The issue is this: the law is clear, and when my brother is talking about the judgment of a court that talks about they are being members, that is not the issue on stake. Let's not twist the law, my brother. The issue on stake is the assembly. Who is the constituted assembly? Which is the issue before a court that they are appealing. That is the issue. And the governor has made a pronouncement yesterday. He didn't send anybody to the streets. The people of Rivers State, like I said, love Rivers State or leave her alone. Don't pull her down. The people of Rivers State wake up, not sent by the governor. And the governor has called for everybody to have peace, to maintain peace. And he has said that in churches, everywhere he has gone to. So I don't know where the governor is faulting here. If anybody should wait.
Well, he mentioned yesterday that none of his supporters should be arrested or if they are arrested, they will have him to deal with.
Not yesterday. He made that statement in the church. He said most of his supporters have been arrested. He didn't say none should be arrested. If you commit a crime, you'll be arrested. He said his supporters are being arrested on trump-up charges. He said it in the church, not yesterday. Yesterday, he only made the state broadcast. Go and read this broadcast again. He thanked the local government chairman. He thanked them for serving the state. They've served out their tenure. If there is a term elongation and the case is in court, hold on. 3, 4, 5 days, 1 week will not kill you.
All right.
The court will make a pronouncement, then you can go back. Not to go and start creating their own talks to destroy, and then we are not blaming a governor that had a right to run the state.
To thank you on that note. Alistair Wilcox, Public Affairs Analyst, past Chairman, ICANN Lagos and District Society. Thank you for your time. Biodun, quickly, your final words on this, because the major question I asked was the implication on dividends of democracy in the state.
Just quickly, it's quite unfortunate because it's the people, when two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers.
Right.
It's the people that are suffering today. Rivers State deserves to be better governed than what we're having currently, and because of that, the people will not realize the full dividends of democracy. In the interest of development and the people to create the ambience for investment, I think it's time the governor should step back a bit and view everyone as his children, and then go back, and try and, ensure that the state is governed by the rule of law.
Very, very important aspect you have raised there, talking about the rule of law. Biodun Shomi, Public Affairs Analyst, we must thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
As well. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, moving on, finally on the show, we went to the streets of Lagos.